Well, hello there and welcome to Travels with Geordie. If this is your first visit, my name is Peter Knowles and I live here on this old wooden motor cruiser in Victoria, British Columbia, along with my pup Geordie, all the while fixing it up for some pretty major cruising someday. If that's the sort of thing that you might be interested in, please consider sticking around and subscribing. We'd love to have you. This week we're carrying on with the mock-up of the dinette in the wheelhouse. Let's get to it. Here's something I'm pretty stoked about. I had the opportunity to move to a new slip here at the marina on the outside dock, which means I have this fantastic view of the shore and looking downtown into Victoria. So I'm pretty stoked about that, as I said. Cool, eh? I've spent an ungodly amount of time just sitting here trying to decide about various heights, angles, geometries, table. The table's been in, the table's been out, the table's been up, the table's been down. It's unbelievable how much time I've spent fiddling with this. And those of you who know me, you know it takes me forever to get where I want to be. But the whole point of this is that it's modifiable into the future. I don't have to get it now. But a few things I sort of do, like making a table and a few other things. So yeah, plus I'm just enjoying sitting here so much. I just want to get it just right. Plus my new spectacular view, now that I've moved, I'm feeling so good about it. It's just awesome. Plus it's kind of inspired me to maybe finally record that little Robert Johnson E Delta bluesy thing that I use for my intro, which I had intended to play myself all this time and never got around to recording it. Okay, I've settled on the geometry for at least the first phase. I'm going to assemble it, and then I'm going to make another one exactly the same. Well, it's actually going to be a little bit shorter. So just get on with it. So basically, this is a temporary structure across the front. It's going to move inside, so it's a little tidier. Going to build some blocks. Anyway, let's. I'll show you as it develops. Okay, so I had been supporting the back edge of the seat assembly on a random piece of 2x4 across. Well, I need that for structure because I don't trust the piano hinge to take up all the strain of the weight. So yes, that'll always be there. But I'm going to put in some little, let me bring you over, some little stops here. So that one will sit at the low slouch mode and then it'll lift up and sit on an upper stop. Anyway, let me get on with it and you'll see what I mean. Actually, before the stops, what I have to do is decide how the back is going to be supported. Right now, I have to admit it's basically sitting against the door skin between the studs here and basically pressing against the bulkhead. Well, that won't do. So I've planned to put another 2x4 in here between these that this can sit on, which is great. And then that'll help me decide how high all this is going to be. But it's also got to work so that as the seat becomes in the upright mode, it still makes sense. So yeah, a little bit of figuring here. Still, never seems to end with the figuring. Out there somewhere. So I want to be able to maximize how far back the bench is against the bulkhead because I don't want to wasted space in here. I'd also like to minimize the height of the overall box seat bench thing. I'm pretty sure I'm not showing you all of this. Up there maybe. I would say that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yes! Alright, so that 2x4 support beam that's along the back is now going to be integral with the seat assembly, so I just have to screw it together. Obviously this should be screwed from the other side, but it's easier to get started from this side, and then I can turn around and put some more screws in from the other side. At least they'll give me an idea how this is going to work. So that would lock into there and boom, slouch mode. Why do I just have to try every permutation? I'm sitting in the way too slouchy mode and it is so slouchy. It's really nice. Okay folks, so you're the first to see the Travels with Geordie Adjusto slouch system. So just a couple of pieces of 2x4 on the main structural piece. So slouch mode, it just jams into there and the back goes up. Slouch mode, you want to switch to less slouchy mode, up on the upper step and the back goes up. And that is absolutely perfect. I'm going to live with this for a little while. Nice thing about it, you can still tip up and access storage down below, which is what this is also all about. Anyway, I'm thrilled. Haha! Let's cut the back down. Here we go. The thing about cutting the sides down is I have to retain some structure. This piece of door skin is acting as bracing for the back piece that when you lean against takes a reasonable force. I have to decide what I'm going to do for an armrest. I want some kind of armrest. I can tell you right now, getting in and out when the table is here, this is very, very much in the way. You can see I took a notch out so that I could at least do it. That was for the Beer of the Week last week. Excellent. And now it's super easy to get off the end. I'm liking this. Beautiful. This thing is getting positively rigid. I mean, it can't be completely hacked, right? Okay, so here we go. Now the astute amongst you will notice that I haven't cut down the port side armrest section because after all, it may be possible that that is at the perfect armrest height and you never need to get in and out. You don't need a notch to get in and out on that side. Let's see how this works. Alright, the idea being to be able to get onto this bench without exceeding this point right here. Piece of cake! I think we'll have to make the table. That's for tomorrow. I think we're gonna call it a day. Let's see what it feels like down here. Oh yeah, that's armrest height. Oh yes. Well, it's another day, and I think I can tell you, after having spent a good deal of last night sitting in this slouch couch mode, admiring the view and sipping on some scotch, it's too slouchy. It's not that it's too slouchy, but the front is too high and the angle is too acute, is too close between them. I need to make it a little more obtuse. So the easy solution for that is to lower the front. But then you say, well, if you lower the front when it's in dining mode, it'll be too low. Aha! Stay tuned. I'll show you what's in mine. Alright then, so the magic number is going to be 1.5 inches. I'm going to lower the front 1.5 inches, which is the thickness of a 2x4, in the slouch mode, and then I'm going to use that extra piece of 2. How about I show you that? Beauty! The way this works, although I'm pretty sure most of you have figured it out, in slouch mode, am I going to have to start calling this couch mode? Probably. Anyway, it now sits better. It's a little lower and I think I'm really pleased with it all, having sat on it properly. But as soon as I put it into dining mode, you're going to see that it is too low, way too low. In fact, it's even lower than flat. Haha! So we just take another 2x4 and we slide it up under right on the edge. So what happens is, when the seat is slid back, the 2x4 comes into play and adds that 1.5 inches back that I took out. When I turn it back into couch mode, this is now hanging off the front and doesn't affect the front of it. Now, these are all pretty rudimentary ways of achieving this geometry change. I've already percolated some nice things I'll do when this is all mahogany and cabinetry, but this certainly is doing the job for now. So I just got to throw some screws in this. Okay, dining mode, don't know why I'm checking it's unchanged. I'm actually really quite pleased with it. Slouch mode. This now slides off the front. Oh, yes! It's amazing what an 1.5 inches can do. Love it. Love it. And just to be sure, love it. How about getting on building some more of this stuff? But this was the process. This adjusting, changing, figuring it all out was why I did it this way. Armrest is too high. Let's build a table. I mean, a pretty rudimentary table, but it'll help a lot to get a feeling of certainly how getting in and out and rudimentary. Think picnic table. Okay. And there we go. Well, some might say I might have taken the grade stamp off. This will be my table for at least a year. Okay folks, I don't even want to show you anymore what I'm up to here. Yes, I have cut the back down some more and I'm about to cut the back of the actual bench part down again. Well, I have to, because by lowering this would not touch the wall, because I've realized that's way too high. Plus I have to kind of juggle the available foam I have to do, say, upholstery later on. Anyway, I think I've got this pretty much settled, which means I'm going to move on to making the other one. How many times have I already told you that? Little space problem in here. I had the table outside for a while, but it started raining and it's getting crowded in here. Anyway, let me get this done, get those 2x4s ripped up, and get some real work going on in here. All right. Okay, I'm gonna say it's perfect. Let's move on. Alright then, because the next bench is sitting here facing that way or in the same position facing forward, it actually has to be slightly narrower because the side of the boat is coming in and I've never really determined exactly how much. So what I'm going to do is measure straight across. Oh my gosh. And it's a new day. In fact, it's the final day. My daughter arrives tomorrow, and do I look like I'm ready? No, I don't. Anyway, it's gonna go okay. I have a lot to do today, and only a little bit has to do with anything you want to watch, otherwise it's laundry and cleanup. Yeah, so let's finish this. The next step for this is to cut the piano hinge. We'll cut it, I don't know, we'll cut it about there somewhere. I wonder if you're starting to see some of the method to my madness here. You may notice that a completed bench is mobile. Not that one will always stay there, but this one is mobile, and it makes a really great work surface. So both the temporary one, which I'm building now, and the final one, which I build whenever I build, must be able to be convertible to a decent bench support. Honey, it's a bench. It's a bench. Different meaning of the word bench. Didn't think about that. Which means I'm not working on rubber totes anymore. How about that? Anyway, let's put some screws in this. That pretty much wraps it up. I'm just going to go around now and toss in dozens of more screws to actually stiffen it up. All I put in so far is what I need to kind of hold it together, and you don't need to watch this. Okay, so technically, this bench is done. Let's see if it works. The famous slouch mode. And the slightly less famous dining mode. Love it. I'm going to work on some armrests, but not yet. Well, folks, I gotta say, I am so happy with the way this has turned out. Here we can see it in one of its many modes, basically, with the forward bench all the way forward and the table against the window. This is kind of a neat setup because it gives dining for two, but it also gives the ability to use the table as a bit of a additional cooking surface or chart table or something like that. And it also means there's a place you can sit without having a table in front of you, say play the guitar or just relax. I just love it. Anyway, let's move right on with the beer of the week. Well, hello and welcome to the beer of the week. I am in bliss here, I've got to tell you. I just love sitting by this window, looking out. I'm just loving it. I love it so much. Okay, we're going back to my favorite brewery, Driftwood Brewery here in Victoria, and it's called Crooked Coast, and they're calling it a alt beer, which is German for old beer, and apparently that's before they used yeast. So I'm not very familiar with it, to tell you the truth. I did a little research, but that's all I know. So let's see what this is like. Okay, love the color of it. Nice and golden. Pour a little head on the end. And we'll think of Crooked Coast from Driftwood. Cheers. Oh my gosh, that is really nice. Really mellow, caramelly, buttery, malty. Oh! Love it. Really love it. Loving everything right now, to tell you the truth. What I am is happy. I'm a happy man. No doubt about it. That's a clue. Anyway, with no new patrons this week, I'd like to put an extra special thanks of gratitude to all my existing patrons and supporters of all sorts. Cheers to you all. As you know, I couldn't possibly do this every week without you. You're the ones who make this happen. And you need a word of the week. Did you know it was going to be happy? Yes. If you'd like to win a Travels with Geordie t-shirt, use the word happy in a comment down below, and I'll pick it random from the first 24 hours worth of comments. And if I pick your comment, you're going to get a Travels with Geordie t-shirt, and then you'll be happy too. Oh, love it. Cheers. See ya.